Big question is, does this feel like an M car? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Hey guys, today I'm in the brand new 2021 BMW M4 Competition. This car only came out a few months ago, really. A buddy of mine, Logan, has been kind enough to let me take it for a spin. He was with me in the Lotus Evora GT video. First time driving an M4 competition, or even the new M4 in general. First time even seeing one. And there's a lot to break down with this car. A lot of controversy. The Sao Paulo yellow color, it's like that super bright, like highlighter green, highlighter yellow color. Incredibly aggressive color. 503 brake horsepower from a 3-liter twin turbocharged straight 6. 0 to 60 is dealt with in about 3.8 seconds, which honestly felt faster. Like that felt like it was probably like low 3s. So, smooth 8-speed automatic transmission. There's a torque converter. Not very dramatic at all, but incredibly smooth. Top speed, I believe, is limited to 180 if you get like that driver's package, whatever it's called. But I think if you don't have that package, it's limited to 155. This car is quite controversial, not in terms of the driving dynamics, but more so that front grille. Gonna have to talk about that for a sec, because when I first saw photos of it, we were all kind of like, whoa, like what are they doing? It does look better in person than in pictures. I haven't seen anything that looks like that before, like two massive front grills like that. But that, of course, shouldn't be a deal breaker for anybody. I mean, driving dynamics, already I can tell this is a step above the previous M4, which I did a review on a few years back. I think this is a better looking car than the last one. From certain angles, maybe you could argue the other one is better. I could certainly see that argument from the front of the car, but I think the side and the back of the car is actually better looking than the last one. I think the back looks fantastic in this car. Quad exhausts, and they're big quad exhausts, they're real exhausts as well. It has the M drift mode, and if you go out and do some drifting, it'll rank your drifts for you. So currently your best drift is a 1-star. Jesus Christ. And that's 105. 3.8 seconds, 0 to 60, that feels like it's about 3. Like, once you're really on it, I mean, it pulls, like, hard. God, I see that guy's, like, going like that to us, dude. Just, like, probably because, he passed this when we were at a standstill, and we passed him 10 seconds later doing 105, probably why. But the abundance of carbon fiber in here is pretty astonishing. I mean, literally carbon fiber paddles, which these are all new paddles. They're a bit bigger than the last car. They have like this kind of, feels like a grip. Carbon fiber center dashboard, carbon fiber on the dash over here. Some of the best looking race seats I've seen in a modern car. I mean, I would love to see the car this color on the outside. I'm sure they have one. It's almost like that McLaren Soros blue color. But race seats, they're carbon backed race seats, super aggressive, but also incredibly comfortable. I've noticed that. I feel like they're not, if you're in like a Performante, obviously that's a different kind of car, but I feel like you're about to die. So what are we in Sport Plus mode for the chassis and the engine. Steering's in sport, braking's in sport. So this has carbon ceramic brakes. I mean, yeah, that was 90. Like, and it's just so easy. M1, M2 mode on the steering wheel, so you can kind of save your preset drive modes. Makes it much easier to just get right to the point. Pretty massive digital cluster in front of you, nice size screen. Everything is integrated very well in this car. I think it's a good looking interior. M4 is just such a solid sports car. Like, there's a reason why they're so popular, and it's a hard feat to improve upon the cars that came before it, like the E92 M3, the previous M4 generation, E46. Like, people love those cars for a reason, so it's hard to try to recapture the spirit of the old cars. This is electric power steering, so it doesn't have tremendous feedback or feel, but you can just tell it's an M car because of how accurate it is. I mean, there's no trouble placing this car whatsoever, even with the lack of feedback. 479 foot-pounds of torque, incredibly torquey motor. However, I wouldn't say it really feels too turbocharged. It feels quite linear, actually, quite predictable. I just remember the last M4 I drove, it was incredibly easy to like hold this, I don't want to say it was drifting, but I mean to hold the slide a little bit. It was a very easy car to like, I guess, gain control of and not lose it. These motors are also quite tunable as well. You can really make some stupid power with like a tune. I do quite like this color. It's not a traditional M color. It does, however, emphasize that front grille even more. So if you really hate the grille, you could just get like a darker color and you really wouldn't be able to tell as much. The sound is, as with the last car, not incredibly loud. It does, I think, make some nice burbles and pops on the overrun and on downshifts. But I do know that it also pumps fake interior noise into the cabin, much like the previous generation did and the old M5 did as well. Which, I mean, I guess I'd rather that than not hear anything. Very traditional, thick BMW steering wheel. Feels great in the hand. Seating position is bang on. Paddle shifters are nice at the touch. Again, I mean, this interior trim is some of the coolest. I don't know, I've never seen like a color combo that works as well, and it just does. You wouldn't think it worked that well, but it does. No matter what generation M car it is, you just know it's going to be built incredibly well by people who know what they're doing. And so just knowing that, you just have an immense amount of confidence after you purchase one, because you're like, you know that you just purchased an incredible vehicle. Like, there's no doubting. You're like, oh, I don't know if it really is going to be that great. Like, it's going to be good. It's like you don't question if you made a good purchase or not. You know you did. Of course, it isn't automatic, but gear changes are incredibly quick. I mean, I'd say it's the same as a dual clutch. It's just it's a smoother experience in a dual clutch. Your thoughts on the front grille? Like, is it growing on you?
I liked it already because I think it stands out compared to a lot of cars already on the road.
Yes.
However, that adaptive cruise control really breaks it up and makes it less attractive.
Yeah, I think it looks better in person.
Oh yeah.
Pictures, I mean,
100%.
that's a lot of cars are like that. Pictures, it doesn't do it justice. This thing, I mean, I'm not saying it's the prettiest front end of ever, but I mean, it's certainly not as bad as people think. There's an aspect to it, there's an element to it that makes it more likable because it's so different. Yeah. Color really stands out. If there was a cotton magnet color, this is probably it. Big question is, does this feel like an M car? Yeah, it does. Yeah. And it's like, let me think about that for a sec as I'm fucking doing 110. Yeah, dude, in the corners, this feels like a proper M car. It's a heavier car, but they do such a good job, I think, of masking the weight. Because the steering is so quick that it feels like the car is super light and just darty. Oh, yeah, a little more slip there. Yeah, it's just like solid. I mean, there's no hesitation. It's truly effortless the way it picks up speed. I'd say it feels similar to the previous M4, but I wouldn't say it's as analog, of course, as the older M cars. It's pretty hard to recapture that spirit. The main thing I don't like, I have to say, is the exhaust. I just think it's way too quiet. Of course, you could probably fix that, but I appreciate some of the pops and the crackles, but overall, it's just way too quiet. And what this car needs, with this sort of, I don't know, unemotional transmission, is some kind of nice sound, and it just doesn't. So that's kind of a letdown for me. If it had a proper manual, it would just have that extra driver involvement, much like the M2 competition. I think overall it would be a much more pleasurable experience. But I mean, still a nice transmission. It's just not. I don't know. I wish there was just more of an experience, but still properly quick. Like, don't get it twisted. This car is fast. It's just no way around that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Do you like the new M4? Do you not like it? Tell me why down below. And I will see you guys in the next one.